So for the tabbouleh, you're gonna need the following ingredients: parsley, 2 medium to large tomatoes, 1 small onion. I'm gonna use a red onion, but you can use just a white one. Burghul, which I'll go into a bit more in a second. The juice of 2 lemons, olive oil. This is not an oil-free recipe. You're gonna need a good bit of extra virgin olive oil. And then some optional ingredients, which are mint, pomegranate, and pomegranate, I always get it mixed up, molasses or concentrate. Yeah, and let's get into it. So in terms of the burghul, you want to choose one that's quite fine for the tabbouleh, so I thought I'd show you a few of the different types just so you can see the differences. So this one here is just a normal burghul that you would use similarly to rice, and you would cook it in a similar way. So that's 2 course, is course the right word, for the tabbouleh, so you want to avoid something like that. And then you've got this one here, which is just a little bit finer, and then that's kind of like the medium one between the coarse burghul and the really fine one, which is this one here, that is really fine and the type that you would normally use for tabbouleh. And then you've got brown burghul here, which again, this one is a fine one that I don't use that much, but my mum uses to make kubba, you know, like the Lebanese style kind of kibbeh that's like brown on the outside. So like I said, normally you would probably use this one for tabbouleh. It's probably the most common, but I actually like a little bit of texture in the burghul, so I'm going to use the one that's kind of like in between, just so that it's obviously not too coarse but just has like a little bit of texture. So yeah. Okay, so I'm just starting off by finely chopping my parsley, which I've obviously just taken off the stems, given a wash and dried, and I'm just doing this in kind of batches just because I want to make sure that I get everything chopped really finely, because I guess that's kind of one of the keys to a really good tabbouleh. So this obviously takes, it's not difficult, but it just takes a little bit of time, and obviously I'm using a bit of a small knife here, which was probably a bit silly, but it's what I have. So yeah, you can see I'm just kind of like going over it a few times, just to make sure, like I said, it's chopped really finely. Next, I'm just chopping up my mint, obviously pretty much same as the parsley, just chopping up really nice and finely. Again, like the parsley, just going over it a few times to make sure it's really nice and fine. Next, I'm just dicing up my tomatoes, which, as you can see, obviously I've just finely sliced, and I'm just going to dice into really little kind of cubes, just as small as you can get them. I mean, tomatoes are a bit slippery and awkward to chop like that, but yeah, just chop them finely. You guessed it, chop the onion finely. Yep, just chop it as fine as you can get it. Like I said, you can obviously also use just a white onion, which is probably more normally used in tabbouleh, but I just like the red one, gives it a nice bit of colour. Yeah, so I'm just adding in the lemon juice. You want to add in, like I said, a good bit of lemon juice, because it's that acidity that really makes a nice tabbouleh, in my opinion. And then obviously you can see I'm just adding in a few tablespoons of pomegranate, and I've added in the burghul. And an important step that I stupidly forgot to show was that you actually need to soak the burghul first. You don't just add it in dry, so I'll have a bit more information written on that below. And again, you can see I'm just adding in the olive oil. Like I said, you want to make sure to add a good bit of olive oil. You don't want a dry tabbouleh, that can be pretty sad. Yeah, and again here you can just see that I'm adding in the pomegranate pomegranate molasses, whatever you want to call it. Again, this is something that you can find in pretty much all Arab or Asian like grocery shops. I'd recommend getting the squeezy bottle, because you can see that I struggled a little bit to get it out of the glass jar. not jar, bottle, whatever. Yeah, and then just give everything a really good mix. Obviously I added in salt as well, so just, you know, taste it, season to your liking. It's your tabbouleh, make it how you want to make it, you know, that's the joy of cooking from home. You can just make things how you like them. If you want it a bit more lemony, add some more lemon. If you don't like any of the ingredients, obviously just leave them out. Maybe not the parsley, because that's a pretty big one. Yeah, and I'm just giving it a taste, loving it. Clearly I'm gonna do a little shimmy here, and that's it. It's so good. Thanks for watching this video. I really hope you try the recipe, and I hope you enjoy it if you do try it. I think just I mean, a lot of people add mint to their tabbouleh anyway, and it just gives it really nice flavour, obviously if you like the flavour of mint. But also just the pomegranate and the pomegranate molasses just add such a nice sweetness that just balances out the acidity, so it makes it more of like a balanced flavour in my opinion. So yeah,